What if I told you the NFL's worst draft ever happened just a few years ago? Not just a few busts, but an entire class known more for disappointment than success. First-round picks vanished from the league in just a few seasons, and players who were supposed to be franchise cornerstones barely made an impact. So how did an entire draft class turn out this bad? With the first overall pick in the 2013 draft, the Chiefs made a somewhat surprising move, selecting tackle Eric Fischer out of Central Michigan. Usually, we only see quarterbacks and edge rushers drafted with the top pick. But with this selection, Fischer became just the fourth offensive tackle to get drafted first overall. Fischer struggled during his first two seasons in the league, but by year 3 in 2015, he finally started to figure things out. The Chiefs took notice, and before the 2016 season began, they gave him a 4-year, $48 million extension, making him one of the highest paid offensive linemen in the NFL. In 2018, he earned his first Pro Bowl nod, and a year later, he played a crucial role in the Chiefs' Super Bowl run, protecting Patrick Mahomes' blindside. When it was all said and done, Fischer made 2 Pro Bowls and played 9 seasons in the NFL. He wasn't a superstar and didn't quite live up to the expectations of being the number 1 overall pick, but he turned in a solid career with a few strong years. With the second overall pick in the draft, the Jaguars selected tackle Luke Jookal out of Texas A&M. Jookal was actually expected to be the first overall pick, and many analysts had him ranked as the best player in the class. However, his career got off to a rough start. Jookal's rookie season only lasted 5 games after breaking his ankle in early October. In 2014, his second pro season, he struggled mightily. That season, Jookal gave up 8 sacks and was ranked as the worst tackle in the league by Pro Football Focus. In 2016, injury struck again. This time, he had season-ending knee surgery. The Jaguars decided not to pick up his 5th-year option, and Jookal signed with the Seahawks as a free agent in 2017. He started 11 games for Seattle, but after that, he never played another snap in the NFL. With the 3rd overall pick, the Dolphins took a big swing on Dion Jordan, a raw but freakishly athletic pass rusher out of Oregon. At the time, scouts saw him as a high upside project. He had the size, speed, and frame that coaches dream about, but there were red flags, and unfortunately, they turned out to be real. Before the draft, Jordan had surgery on a torn labrum, and as a result, played limited snaps as a rookie. But then, things started to really spiral. In 2014, he was suspended for the first 6 games of the season for violating the league's performance-enhancing substance policy. And even when he returned, he barely saw the field, logging just 222 defensive snaps in 10 games. Before the 2015 season, Jordan submitted a diluted sample, which counted as another violation of the PED policy. This time, the league suspended him for the entire season. He came back in 2016, but didn't play a single snap. In 2017, the Dolphins finally cut him after he failed a physical. The Seahawks then gave him a shot, signing him to a 1-year deal, and surprisingly, he showed a little promise, recording 4 sacks in just 5 games. But just as things were looking up, Jordan got suspended again. This time for testing positive for Adderall. In the end, Dion Jordan played 6 seasons in the NFL. He only started 5 games and finished with just 13.5 career sacks. Also guys, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Underdog. Underdog is the place to play if you're a fan looking to cash in on all your favorite athletes' performances. Just call your shot by picking higher or lower on 2 or more player stats for a shot to win real money. And you can win up to 1,000 times your money. And you guys know I had to hook you up, so if you guys sign up using my promo code SheGotSports, they'll match your first deposit up to $1,000 and give you a free pick. With the 4th overall pick in the draft, the Eagles selected Lane Johnson, an athletic offensive tackle out of Oklahoma. And unlike most of the top picks in this draft, Philly actually got it right. Johnson made an immediate impact right away, starting at right tackle as a rookie and locking down that spot for over a decade. He didn't just become one of the best tackles in the league, he became one of the most consistent players in football. In 2022, he set an NFL record by going 26 straight games without allowing a single sack. He's a 2-time first-team All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler, and a 2-time Super Bowl champion. When his career is all said and done, Lane Johnson won't just be remembered as the best player from this draft. He'll be wearing a gold jacket in Canton. With the 5th overall pick, the Detroit Lions took defensive end Ezekiel Ziggy Ansa out of BYU. Ziggy actually grew up in Ghana playing basketball and soccer. He came to the US at 18 to chase his dream of playing college basketball at BYU. But after getting cut from the team 2 years in a row, he decided to try out for the football team. At his first practice, he didn't even know how to put his pads on. But once he stepped onto the field, he was a natural. In 3 years, he went from knowing nothing about football to being one of the best defensive players in the nation. At first, Ansa looked like one of the few bright spots from the entire 2013 class. He quickly made his presence felt, racking up 8 sacks, which led all rookies. By 2015, Ziggy was dominating, tallying 14.5 sacks and earning his first and only Pro Bowl selection. For a brief moment, it seemed like the Lions had finally found their elite pass rusher. But just as quickly as he rose, Ansa's career hit a wall. Injuries piled up, and after his breakout year, he only had one more season with more than 10 sacks. Detroit eventually moved on, and Ansa bounced around to Seattle and San Francisco, battling injuries every step of the way. In the end, Ansa ended up playing 7 seasons in the NFL, racking up 50.5 sacks during that stretch. Ziggy wasn't a bust, but injuries derailed what could have been a very impressive career. With the 6th overall pick in the draft, the Cleveland Browns selected linebacker Marcavius Mingo out of LSU. He had elite speed, a crazy first step, and looked like the next big thing off the edge. Mingo had 5 sacks as a rookie, and that ended up being the high point of his entire career. He struggled with strength, consistency, and just couldn't develop into the dominant pass rusher Cleveland thought they were getting. After 3 underwhelming seasons, the Browns gave up and traded him to the Patriots for a late-round pick. From there, Mingo became a journeyman, bouncing from team to team, including stints with the Colts, Seahawks, Texans, Bears, and Falcons. In total, Mingo played 8 seasons in the NFL and finished with just 12.5 sacks. With the 7th overall pick in the draft, the Arizona Cardinals selected guard Jonathan Cooper out of North Carolina. He was supposed to be a game changer on the interior line. Athletic, powerful, and polished. But things fell apart almost immediately. In the 3rd preseason game of his rookie year, Cooper broke his leg. He missed the entire 2013 season, and honestly, he never fully recovered. When he returned, he struggled with both injuries and performance. Cooper bounced in and out of the starting lineup and never looked like the dominant lineman Arizona expected. By 2016, the Cardinals had seen enough and traded him to the Patriots as part of the Chandler Jones deal. But Cooper didn't even make it out of training camp in New England. From there, he became a journeyman, signing short-term deals with the Browns, Cowboys, 49ers, and Commanders. He started some games here and there, but was consistently getting injured. In the end, Jonathan Cooper was in the league for 6 seasons and only started 31 games. With the 8th pick, the Rams took the first skill position player off the board, selecting the most electric playmaker in college football, wide receiver Tavon Austin out of West Virginia. Austin was a human highlight reel, blazing speed, insane agility, and the ability to score from anywhere on the field. But his transition to the NFL wasn't smooth. Despite flashes of big playability, Austin never became the consistent star the Rams envisioned. He was fast, but not a great route runner, so he was used more as a gadget guy. As a wide receiver, his production was limited, and he never surpassed 509 receiving yards in a single season. After 5 disappointing years with the Rams, Austin became an NFL journeyman. He bounced around with teams like the Cowboys, Packers, Jaguars, and Bills, primarily as a special teams contributor. In the end, Tavon Austin spent a decade in the league, but only managed 2,239 receiving yards and 29 total touchdowns, which never quite matched the massive expectations of being a top 10 pick. With the 9th overall pick, the Jets selected cornerback Dee Milliner out of Alabama. Coming out of college, Milliner looked like a lockdown corner, but in typical Jets fashion, the pick didn't work out as planned. Milliner was thrown into the starting lineup right away as a rookie, and it was rough. He gave up big plays, was benched multiple times due to poor play, and just didn't look ready for the NFL. Still, he flashed some potential late in the season, hauling in 3 interceptions in the final 2 games. There was hope, but that hope ended up fading fast. The following year, Milliner tore his Achilles in just his 3rd game. When he returned the following year, he played in just 5 games and was then released. So just like that, at 24 years old, Milliner's NFL career was over. I mean, guys, come on, that's absolutely crazy. A top 10 pick only playing 3 seasons in the league and really only being a starter for one of those seasons and really not playing any defensive snaps in the other 2. That is just wild. That is just like unheard of. With the 10th overall pick in the draft, the Titans selected guard Chance Warmack out of Alabama. At 6'3" and 320 pounds, Warmack was massive. Scouts saw him as one of the safest picks in the class, with very few flaws in his game. But once he got to the league, his play just didn't translate. Warmack started all 16 games as a rookie, and while he held his own early on, he never became the dominant mauler the Titans had hoped for. Over the next few seasons, his play was up and down. Inconsistent technique, penalties, and struggles in pass protection became a trend. After a hand injury in 2016, the Titans decided to decline his 5th-year option. He signed with the Eagles in 2017 and won the Super Bowl with them as a backup. By 2018, he was out of the league. He attempted a short comeback with the Seahawks in 2020, but never made the final roster. The top 10 picks from the 2013 draft were historically bad. From the 2000 draft to the 2020 draft, an average of 6 Pro Bowlers have been selected in the top 10. In this 2013 draft, there were only 3. However, outside of the top 10, some pretty talented players were drafted. 5-time Pro Bowl wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins was drafted with the 27th overall selection, 3-time Pro Bowl tight end Zach Ertz, and 6-time Pro Bowl corner Darius Slay were drafted in round 2. Geno Smith went 39th overall to the Jets, and 2-time first-team All-Pro running back Le'Veon Bell was drafted with the 48th overall pick by the Steelers. The best player in the 2013 draft was actually selected in the 3rd round, Travis Kelce, who is now a 10-time Pro Bowler and a future first ballot Hall of Famer. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see a top 10 or even a first round as rough as the one we saw in 2013 ever again. Also, did you guys know there was a top draft pick, a quarterback who never played a single snap in the NFL? If you want to hear what happened to him and why he never played a single snap, check out this video up here.